Hello everyone, I'm Isaac and welcome to another video. Today I'm actually doing a little something different. I'm going to be covering paper pencil RPGs. Believe it or not, yes, I'm a dice chucker. I play Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and I run Starfinder. So, talking to some friends at work, apparently some people are finding Starfinder a little harder to get into, mostly for character creation, among other things. So I had decided I would cover a little bit of the core rulebook. I've got pretty much all the books, but I wanted to talk a little bit about character creation. So, for the most part, Starfinder is actually fairly straightforward when it comes to character creation. Most DMs I know of, if you're not doing point buy, will do 46, drop the lowest, reroll ones. It's a really good way to get a balanced set of stats, and your players will love you for it. Just be ready for some interesting shenanigans here and there. But Starfinder has some other features. For example, during character creation, you're not just doing classes, you're also going to have themes. And I'll talk here a little bit about themes in just a second. Themes actually add interesting flavor to characters in Starfinder. Starfinder, being a space game, is actually pretty fun, and you get to have a number of different themes. From ace pilot all the way down to being a bounty hunter or an outlaw, or maybe you have an interest in being a priest of, well, space, which I don't know. But hey, each theme adds bonuses to your ability scores as well as class skills and additional abilities that you might not receive otherwise. You can even go themeless, in which case you're able to choose one stat that you can add a single point to it if you like. You can also add one additional class skill of your free choice. But themes add a little bit of extra flavor. It's kind of like having a marriage between a background and sort of a class itself. Each theme provides special abilities, special skills that you wouldn't get otherwise, and the ones that I listed are just pretty much in the core book alone. There are a lot more themes that get added in other books, but we'll cover those in time. Right now, I just want to cover the core book so that we get everyone kind of more acquainted to it. And if you guys want to see more of this kind of video, let me know, and we'll start really delving into these themes. Classes are going to be another amazing thing we're going to look through here. And classes, of course, are fun. Races, as far as Starfinder go, if you want to play your basic Pathfinder and D&D race, you go all the way to the back of the book, and they'll give you stats for that. For your basic dwarves, your half orcs, your sorry, I need to wet my throat here. But your half orcs, all of your gnomes, your halflings, if you want to be space versions of those. But Starfinder has a lot of awesome character races themselves. Individual character races, including the Kashanas, the androids. If you want to go into the Alien Archive 1, you'd find the Skittermander, which is a non-core class. Or, I'm sorry, non-core race, sorry. But some of the other core races are the Sharons, the Lashantas, if you want to be Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. You can play Rat Folk. You can even play Vesk, which are basically the Gorn. If you like Star Trek, you can be a Gorn. It's really interesting. Each and every one of these races has their own HP and stat bonuses that they provide. And that's actually cool with Starfinder is you get both your base race HP plus your class HP, which can actually allow for some more beefier options if you want to play spellcasters. Like you can play a Vesk, even though you'll probably lose -2 to intelligence unless you're using one of the variants from one of the other books. But like I said, we'll get into those separately. So it's really fun. There's a lot of playroom in Starfinder, especially in this old kind of class of game. And we'll get into what might actually get people a little more difficulty here in a minute. Now let's get into classes. Don't mind the kitty. He decided he needed to jump on my shoulder while I was prepping to talk about this. If you're wondering why I'm kind of like breezing over, is because each and every single one of these topics is well worth your own video, because there's so many alternatives and amazing things that go into Starfinder. Your base classes, of course, include, as I grab the book, Envoy, Mechanic, Mystic, Operative, Solarian, Soldier, and Technomancer. Each and every one of these is pretty interesting. Your Envoy, of course, is your basically the character party face, the class of the party face. And your Mechanic, of course, is your super skilled person who knows how to fix practically everything. Your Mystic is your magic caster, i.e., kind of like either your wizard. Operative is your rogue. And of course, your Solarian is kind of the sorcerer. Soldier is, well, fighter. There's no other way of getting around that. It's fighter. A fancier term for fighter. And Technomancer, which is basically an awesome little thing of creating Magitech if you ever watched or played Final Fantasy. Each and every single one of these classes has numerous subclasses and sub-abilities to go into, and alternatives that I will definitely go through in each of their own videos. There are even additional classes that you'll find in other books, such as Near Space, the new Tech Armory book, all kinds of awesome stuff. So yeah, I'll be going over these individual classes in their own video. So forgive me if I don't like run through them now. I will tell you the basics of character creation with them. So in Starfinder, you have something called stamina points, and stamina points are basically the HP before the HP. You have to take as much damage as your stamina points before you start getting your HP eaten into. And with Starfinder, there's no death saves. It's more of you must take damage more equal to or greater than your Constitution modifier for you to die. Or so be mindful of that. Now, the thing that might cause some issues for some folks that might have a major little interest for my friends who have never played anything other than 5th edition D&D might have a little trouble with this upcoming topic. Specifically, the topic of skills. You see, in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, and I think maybe 4, but as well as Pathfinder and Starfinder, skills are not set up in a way of advantage or disadvantage. Skills are set up with the way that you have a certain set of points for each skill in your class. You can, of course, use these points to purchase skills that are outside of your class, but they cost double point cost in order to actually have them. One of the great things of themes, by the way, because you can actually get class skills in a skill that you might not receive as part of your class. So let's say you want a fighter that's slightly better at sleight of hand or pickpocketing. You might want to be an outlaw soldier. But essentially the way that this works is each skill that you have is based on the skill points that you have into it. You can only put so many skill points into a skill, however. You can only put as many skills points into a skill as you are a level. So if you're level 2, you can only technically have 2 points in any given skill. And that's not terrible. Some classes actually give you boatloads of skills. We used to call skill points, we used to call these the skill monkeys. You kind of still get it a little bit in 5e because you'd have these classes that get a ton of skill advantages. Oh no, my skull is empty. Wait. Aha! Ginger ale. Tasty. Ginger ale from the skulls of my enemy. Yummy. Anyway. But this actually, to me, I think I actually like this system a bit better. Because it allowed you as a player to kind of craft your character a little bit more in depth. You could have class skills that you may not necessarily normally would think to have. So, skill monkey classes, by the way, would be more along the lines of your mystic, your operative, and your mechanic. Basically, any skill class that relies heavily on intelligence. So, these are pretty interesting. So, it's pretty simple. If you want to increase your ability or your capability with a skill, you add a point to that skill. And for the total, as far as your skill roll, you would add your ranks in the skill plus your ability modifier, which is the same as D&D. So, 12 plus is a +1 ability modifier, 14 is +2, 16 +3, so on and so forth. And you could have even bonuses in these skills depending on what your theme is or what your class is. Really fun stuff. Some other things now we're getting into is, well, equipment. Equipping your character can seem a little daunting, especially in Starfinder, since a lot of people aren't familiar with some of the way that this system works. So equipment for Starfinder, each piece of equipment has its own level. For example, if you're a level 1 character, you can only use level 1 equipment. The same with level 2, level 3, level 4, you get the idea. This is kind of Starfinder's way of balancing the game, making it so that characters that are low level don't get something like a level 9 gun and are just murdering through the whole game. But it allows a lot of tools for players and game masters to be able to work with each other. So, hey, if you're a game master and somehow your level 2 players manage to kill your level 9 big bad or level 10 big bad, then you don't have to worry about whether or not they're just going to take the big bad stuff and try and murder everything in the game, because it's like, sorry, you're too low level to know how to use this. It might piss off a few players, but it's a really good way of being able to kind of explain, why they can't use certain pieces of equipment, that kind of thing. Another thing that might get some people a little over the top is weapons, is specifically in armor. For example, if you're wearing heavy armor, you'll take negatives to your movement as well as your typical kind of. Let me. Sorry, I know I should probably have done this earlier. Oh, good lord. Here we go. Yes. So, for example, your heavy armor will have speed adjustments like -10 feet. So if you're a character that has a normal base movement about 30 feet, you then have 20. Armor will also have an armor check penalty, which is like -3, -2, -4. Basically, this is a minus to whatever skill you're trying to use in terms of athletics, acrobatics, anything that requires physical movement. You're going to take minuses to that. This equipment also has a max dex bonus. For those of you not familiar, let's say your dexterity is 18, you get +4 normally. However, if your armor only has a maximum dex bonus of +3, you'll only get that +3. So it's really wise to kind of keep an eye on what your minuses and negatives are, and you really want to be able to pay attention to those kind of things. Now, Starfinder also has 2 separate ACs. What's this? Well, yes, because the thing is that Starfinder actually separates kinetic damage from energy damage. So kinetic damage is like you're taking a bullet to the chest or someone's hitting you with a sword. So your kinetic AC is going to be based on how hard it is to do that to you. Your energy AC is like someone trying to take a lightsaber to you or someone trying to shoot you in the face with a laser gun. That's how much your armor absorbs energy attacks and how well you can dodge an energy attack. So it's actually kind of Easy to calculate this. You just take your armor's EAC and KAC rating, add 10 plus your dex modifier that you're allowed, and there you go. You can also have shields, fusion weapons, and equipment, which take place of magic items in Starfinder, are pretty much expensive to actually make because it's about 1,000 credits to 10,000 credits, depending on how high of fusion you want to make. But for basic character creation, if you're looking for heavy armor character, you definitely want to be able to make sure that you're kind of picking an armor that's going to provide you enough protection but allows you to have a dex modifier. For example, one time a buddy of mine was creating a Vesk soldier with the icon theme. He originally was going to use Golem Plate. Golem Plate is not a good idea. To read Golem Forge Plating here for you, it's a +2 EAC, +5 KAC, 0 dex bonus, armor check penalty of -3, and a -10 feet movement. Bad. That is terrible. That means that he would only have an EAC of 12 and a KAC of 15. Meaning he'd be incredibly easy to hit and very slow. Golem Forge Plate does not work very well unless you're going to have like an uber HP character. So I recommend something more like Ring Mail or the Ceremony Chestplate or the Stana Ringwear. You know, something, anything but that. But I hope this little video helps you guys out a little bit, and I hope you enjoy your adventures in Starfinder, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, my friends. Oh, and do me a favor, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and say hi. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.